Alok Appadurai. Alok is the founder of UpliftMillions.com, and he's coached over 350 mission-driven coaches and consultants and service providers in mindset, marketing, and sales. Now, before he started doing this, he launched 3 impact-driven companies and gave a TEDx talk on feeding 500,000 meals to people in need. Alok is a proud dad to his son, Sequoia, and a partner to Caitlin. Give it up, however you do that virtually, to Alok Appadurai.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thank you so much, Joshua. What an honor and a privilege to be with the AGC community today and be able to share and dive in on some ideas that have really transformed my life. So thank you for being here, for being present. And before I take you into what I want to share today around leadership and around being able to make a positive impact in the world, I want to tell you a quick story. My late mother, Carol, died in my arms in her bathroom of her home in 2009, and I carried her body waiting for the paramedics to come. And in that moment, I learned and I saw what it really was like, the end of the journey for a real warrior to make the world a better place. And she represented the epitome of what I call maximum impact potential during your lifetime, and stepping in and being the leader that each of us is built to be. And that's one of the core things I believe for every one of you that's watching, no matter where you're at in your life, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what has transpired, you are as capable as anybody else, right? And I'm going to walk through some secrets today on what I've learned to create that breakthrough. But I want to share that fuel for me, so you know where I come from in being able to step into my next level of leadership myself, and to really pave that pathway for each of you to begin to believe in yourself at a different at a next level. Next slide, Joshua. Perfect. So here's the problem, right? Each of you, we are already built to be incredible leaders in this world. And you may have huge visions of what you're capable of, and there's oftentimes a gap, right? There's the vision of yourself maybe on stages or leading teams or leading an organization or a company, and there may be the current reality that you're facing, right? And I bet you're a bit like me, and as you've gone on your journey, you felt that gap of like, well, here's where I am, but how do I get to where I want to go, right? How do I step into that vision that I have for myself? And maybe you're hitting those frustrations or those challenges or those roadblocks or those hurdles, right? Or maybe you've got people around you maybe who are holding you back and sort of saying, hey, it's not possible. And maybe at times it's easy to kind of maybe want to even wave the flag and just go, you know what, I'm just going to settle for, a run-of-the-mill or an average job, right? And especially as you get older and maybe you start having responsibilities like family and kids and stuff, it's easier and easier and easier to just wave that flag. And I really want to step in and give you 3 secrets today that are what I had to go through to break through into my next level of leadership and my next level of impact on my path towards making my MIP, maximum impact potential. So before I dive into those 3 secrets, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. Right, so you're kind of wondering, well, why should I listen to this guy? And I don't blame you. So, for me, I've coached over, as Joshua said, I've coached over 350 people. I've closed over 8 figures of deals. I've been in sales and marketing for 31 years. I've given a TEDx talk on feeding 500,000 meals. I've launched 3 mission-driven companies. The first one was in clean energy. Second one was in global media for women. Third one was a sustainable clothing company that fed 500,000 meals to people in need. I've put a 20-year track record on the line every single day to step into not just a career of impact and leadership, but a lifestyle, right? And so one of the things people ask me is, look, how much do you work each week? And I said, to be honest, I don't really tell them, because for me, it's not work. right? When you're living a life of service, when you're living a life that's committed and dedicated to transforming the lives of other people, for me, it's joyful. It's a lifestyle, right? So I just really want to welcome you to that new idea that there is a path forward where you can make a huge impact in the world, you can earn a great living, and you can live a joyful lifestyle of transformation, not just for yourself, but for so many people around you. And then you can eventually start having a ripple effect around the whole world. So anyway, it gives you just a little taste of the journey that I've been on and where I've come from, so that you can hear what I'm going to share with you through that lens. So the first secret that I want to share that honestly is absolutely essential and game-changing is the ability to step into your future self, okay? So what is your future self? Your future self is the version of you who's already created the impact that you desire to create. It's that version of you who's somewhere out in the future who, in my business, when I'm talking to coaches, consultants, and service providers, we talk about your 7-figure self, because usually that's a milestone for most of my clients that's still somewhere in the future. And what we want to do is we want to pull that version of you into the present moment. Now, some people will give some resistance and say, how can I do that? What do you mean? How do I pull my future self? I mean, oh, look, I'm not there. I don't yet have the evidence, right? See, many people wait for the evidence of the future self before they can start acting or being your future self. Well, here's the thing. What we surely know is that there's a less successful version of yourself right over here. And what I guarantee you, correct me if I'm wrong, is you could probably very easily climb into the skin of your less successful self. You could immediately right now start making mistakes and errors like an old version of you. And immediately, boom, you would be connected to your less successful self, right? You'd be climbing into that skin. So I want to welcome you to the idea that you can as easily climb into your future self who's already creating the impact, who's being the leader, who's running the company of your dreams, who's touching the number of lives that you want to touch. You can pull that version of you into the present moment. And when you do that, oh, the magic that opens up. The universe can start aligning, right? And I use language of future self, but really what is it? It's tapping into your subconscious, right? Your subconscious actually already knows every answer. Your subconscious is already knowing how to create that reality of your future self, right? So I use language of future self, but for some of you, it may be more convenient for you to start thinking in the language of your subconscious, right? Where if you shed all of the worries and the thoughts and the fears and all the stories and the narratives that your conscious mind is believing to be true, and you simply, I always say to my clients, hey, ask your future self, ask your 7-figure self what the answer, if you're at a crossroads moment in your business or in the organization that you're leading and you're not sure what to do, right? You can certainly go to mentors. It's always great to do that. You can certainly go to a mastermind community and ask them for input. And you can tap into your future self and just say, like literally ask your future self, hey, what would you do right now? And usually my clients, like they have answers just like this. Just like this. They're able to say, oh, well, I know exactly what I would do. My future self would tell me exactly what to do. I mean, how magical is that to have an inner barometer, right? An inner guidance. And all it requires is an openness to evolving into that future version of you who's already leading that impact-driven company or that organization, who's already making a difference, who's already scaling to 7 figures or whatever it is that you're aiming to do. And you're climbing and you're allowing yourself to be that version of you now. This is so important, okay? Don't wait for the evidence of that version of you before you step into the beingness of that version of you. And the more often you can tap in and ask your future self, what would you do right now? The more clarity and speed and certainty you're going to have on your path going forward. The second secret that was mind-blowing for me was around the secret of wealth consciousness. Now, for a long time, I was studying how to be an entrepreneur, right? And of course, and I read the books and watched the YouTube videos. I went to school for parts of it, right? And to learn how to be an entrepreneur. But I didn't know that there was a difference between understanding the study of being an entrepreneur and understanding wealth consciousness and the study of money energy. Two completely different things. So if you truly want to lead and you've got a big vision of what you want, the impact that you want to make, and you want to step into that vision, those are wonderful things. You have to have the right heart, you have to have the right vision, you have to be evolving into your future self. And what I learned in Detroit in the year 2000 was that when money energy stops flowing through a place or an idea, the place and the idea dies. Oh, this was so powerful for me. I was about 23 years old, and I left Detroit. I went there for a day trip, and I left it, and I realized, I asked myself one question, age 22, age 23, and I said, the money stopped flowing through this place. I wonder what you'd have to do to get the money flowing back through this place. And if it did, I bet this place will come back to life. Well, the same thing is true with your ideas. The same thing is true with your vision. The world has no shortage of people with a huge heart who want to make a big impact in the world, who want to be leaders, but who are unable to move money energy through their ideas. And so one of the things I want to inspire in you is how to begin to start tapping in, and so you can increase the velocity of money through your ideas for good. Now you might say, well, why should that matter? Isn't money evil? And all these horrible ideas. No. Everybody who's doing good in the world, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, all the heavy hitters were able to mobilize flows of money through what they were doing, right? Think about it. I bet you're a bit like me. And the more money that flows through you, the more team you can hire, the more impact you can make, the more lives you can reach, right? Maybe you can start doing live events. Maybe you can travel and do workshops. Like, so many things start opening up when more money is flowing through your vision, through your ideas. So I want to begin to empower you to start saying, how do I begin to open up to new ideas of wealth consciousness? And the root of it is this: do you see life working for you or against you? Do you believe in lack and scarcity and that there's not enough? Or do you believe in abundance, right? When you start looking through the lens of abundance, and I want to tell you this, I used to think this was cheesy. I used to think this was an idea that, was totally a cliche. But actually what we started learning is they're true, right? Money is simply energy. And energy flows when you solve bigger and bigger problems for other people. And that money energy, once you solve those problems for other people, money energy will start flowing towards you. And then you can now invest into creating more impact. And I call this the impact infinity loop, right? And so when we move into flows of energy and flows, and we use wealth consciousness, which really understands that there's no shortage of money, there's no, we live in an abundant world. We live in a world where we are as capable as anybody else of creating, and that we can receive as much as we desire, and it doesn't take away from anybody else. Whoa, wow. Now that secret changed my life, because I used to feel that money was evil. I used to feel that, wanting more of it was somehow made me bad or greedy or a bad person, right? There's so many narratives that are taught that are unhealthy about our relationship to money. And therefore, what happens? We then become limited as an impact-driven leader or an impact-driven entrepreneur, right? Because we struggle to actually move money energy through our ideas. So I really want to inspire you to begin to open up into, how can I begin to learn about wealth consciousness and the ideas of abundance so that I can move the right energies through what we are doing. Go ahead, Joshua. The final secret is around growth being fueled by rich human connection. Everything that I've created has been being able to nurture and build real human connections, right? And we live in a highly fragmented, highly disconnected world at the same time as we're more connected than we've ever been. Right? So I see people wanting to build human connections and move their ideas out into the world using the most disconnected ways, like email, right? And I'm like, pick up the phone, begin to connect with people, have more conversations than you've ever had. Talk to people about what you stand for. Talk to them about who you are in the world and what you believe. Take a strong stand into those belief statements. You want to step into that leadership. You want to build more human connections and rich ones, rich, real, organically driven human connections than you've ever made before. It is literally rocket fuel for stepping into the leadership that your future self is built to create. So as we wrap up here, I just really want to step into and recap for you that as you're thinking about leadership and as you're thinking about, first and foremost, believe that you came to earth with a beautiful mission. I call it your soul mission. You are as capable as anybody else to be able to do that, right? And as you reprogram your mind for impact and income, and you understand that you're as easily qualified, capable, and deserving to receive everything that you want and make the impact that you want. There's nobody more capable than you, right? I used to believe that the people that were making huge impact in the world were somehow superheroes, different than me, born different than me, but they're not. They're no different than you. The only difference is they made a powerful decision that's available to you, that you're going to spend the rest of your life living a life of service, committed to making an impact and being the leader that you were built to be. Use wealth consciousness, use stepping into your future self, and use the unending power of rich human connection to make your biggest impact and contribution during your lifetime. Thanks so much for having me. And if you want to learn more, you can connect with me at upliftmillions.com. You can also connect with me on Facebook. I'm in the various Facebook groups. I'm on Instagram at Alok Appadurai. And yeah, just shoot me a DM. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on those 3 secrets that I just shared. Ask me any questions and I'm happy to dive deeper into it. Thanks so much for having me.